Hello everybody and welcome to the Homestead's Facebook page and YouTube channel. Today I wanted to talk to you about preserving and sorting seeds. So just a couple things to think about before we get into the actual sorting of the seeds. You just want to ensure that the seed pod has turned completely brown and brittle. If you're picking the seed pods off the plant too early, you're going to wind up with seeds that aren't going to germinate. And another thing this time of year that you need to be wary of is too much rain. So if your seed pods have dried out and then they're receiving rain, then this can cause a couple of factors that are going to kill off your seeds. You can have early germination, which is going to definitely affect the longevity of your seeds, and they're not going to grow for you in the spring. Or they can succumb to mold and different types of fungus that will attack the seeds themselves for the nutrients that are held within the seeds and the sugars. One thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to dry the seeds for at least 3 days. I suggest longer, but experts are suggesting 3 days is a good amount of time. I picked all these off the plants yesterday and deshelled them yesterday, and most of them have been drying for an extended period, around a month now, give or take, since I maybe even 6 weeks since I let the pods take off and try to develop full seeds. So yeah, 3 days. There's a couple different recommendations for how to store them after they've dried. Some people suggest that you keep them in airtight containers after they're completely dry and throw one of those little silica packs in there that are going to absorb moisture and oxygen. Mason jars and freezer bags are good bets if you want to go that route. I prefer just to store them in paper bags, as the paper bag, you can see over here, is going to absorb moisture as well and allow these things to continue to dry. Understand that modern hybrid plants may not look like or taste like their parent plants. With the hybrids, it's peas or any plant really. I'm using peas as an example, but these principles apply across the board to all plants, vegetables for sure anyways. Combining two different species is creating a hybrid, and the seeds that you harvest may not wind up showing the same traits, the same characteristics as the parent plant itself did. So they may wind up tasting a little bit different. So basically, here we are. We have a gigantic mound of seeds here. Counted yesterday. I tried to keep track anyways. There's about 850 plus seeds, something like that. But now that I went through and just took the ones that appeared good immediately and separated them into the bag, now I want to do kind of a finer sorting to see which ones are worth holding on to and most likely to produce plants for me next year. So immediately, just looking at the pile here, I can see this one here is split. So that, to me, I'm not going to keep. Anything that's really small, you may have saw me grab this one earlier, that's really small. Chances are that's not going to produce anything, and if it does turn into a plant, it's going to be a weak plant that's not going to produce anything viable for you. Just quickly look here. So I left these on the vine for an extended period, and they did wind up getting some rain on them. So yesterday when I was sorting through, there was a significant amount that had traces of mold either inside the pod or on the actual peas themselves. So this one here, focus in, is a good example of that. You can see that there's a darker patch, and I mean it's not really difficult to tell that this seed has succumbed to a little bit of mold. I mean, it might be fine, it might not be, but I'm just going to separate it immediately. And here's another one that I can see that has a dark patch on it. Some of them that have gone too far are You know, this guy is lost all its moisture, and it might be okay, but it's really kind of deformed and doesn't look like to me that it would do anything. This is an example of a good seed. It's still retaining its shape. You can see that it's fully dehydrated and it looks good. Here's another one to me that doesn't look great. A couple mold spots on it, again pretty deformed and just generally unhealthy looking. Here's one that looks good. I mean, very clearly you can make out the differences between the two. So here's another one that doesn't look very good. I'll just come in a little closer here so you can really see. So you can see the dark spots there and a little bit of mold present on the surface. So basically the reasons why I want to separate these, I don't keep them in a fridge. Some people recommend keeping them in a fridge, but as long as they're in a cool area that's going to prevent them thinking that it's springtime and it's time to grow, and it's a dry area, which is equally or if not more important, moisture is going to tell them that it's time to germinate for sure. So you want to keep the moisture away from them, keep them in a dark spot, and keep them cool. And most vegetable seed varieties will wind up lasting at least a year, and some have a 5-year shelf life depending on the species. Anyways, that's about it for today. If you found this video informing, then you could like and share it for me, and as always, subscriptions are greatly appreciated. Thanks for watching, guys. Have yourselves a great day. Take care and keep gardening.